that button right here?
And that button right there. The Rock Metal Podcast, episode 204, with Cody Held.
Cody Held.
Metal Nation, what is up? This is John from the Rock Metal Podcast. That's Anthony. You heard it was Perceived by Cody Held. I've got on the show with me right now. He's got a new EP out called A New Way Out, which was released earlier this summer. Right now I'm being joined by Cody Held himself to share some stories about the music and share more info about what he's got going on. So Cody, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you doing?
I am doing fabulous, minus the snowstorm that was sneezed our way by the Rocky Mountains in the month of September. But, you know, hey, it is what it is. You got to take the weather as she comes. But otherwise, I'm doing very well. How are you?
Good.
Cool. All right, let's go and listen back to that track, Perceive. Perceive, I'm curious. Now, with instrumental music, a lot of people don't think that there's any emotion to it, but I get a lot of emotion out of your music, Cody. Now, I'm curious, what is the story or inspiration behind Perceive?
That one is a track that I kind of wrote going into with the thought that I wanted it to jump around as far as emotion and thought, I guess you could say. Starts off a little bit heavier, kind of goes into a little bit of a uppity feel in a sense, and then kind of ends on a little bit more of an emotional, kind of slower breakdown situation. So, I just kind of wanted that song to itself have a couple different perspectives of how it feels, and that's kind of where I got the song name, Perceive. That's kind of how that one ended up playing out when I started writing it.
Cool. I'm curious, when you sat down to write it, did you know that it was going to have that direction, or did something at some point let you know that you needed to have different perspectives?
I think it was probably a little bit of both. My songs, they usually take me a couple weeks, if not like a month or so, to write the full thing when it comes to guitars, drums, and if I have any synths or piano or anything. And that was just one I had a lot of different ideas for, and I just kind of started out with something a little bit heavier, and then after that I was like, I think I want this to kind of take on a different tone. So I would say it was kind of a little bit of both, just really had a lot of different stuff going on in life, a lot of different situations I was dealing with, and really busy at the time too. And so I think it just kind of, luckily, all kind of blended together because I just had so many different ideas but didn't know what to do with it. And so it was really just kind of morphing it all together into one song. A
Frankenstein song.
Pretty much, yeah.
Except you didn't call it Frankenstein, you called it Perceive.
I know, I should have though.
Cool. Let's go listen to the next track, Otherwise. Rock Metal Nation, it's John from the Rock Metal Podcast for a real quick break to let you know that Jay over at Metal Mayhem Radio is looking to help you get your band in rotation on his station. So go ahead and hit up Jay at studio@metalmayhemradio.co.uk. That is studio@metalmayhemradio.co.uk. Just go ahead and say that the Rock Metal Podcast sent you. He'll get you into rotation on Metal Mayhem Radio. Coming back from Otherwise, similar question for you, Cody. What is the story or inspiration behind Otherwise?
That one was definitely like a little bit more like an emotional song for me, for sure. I wanted it to have a very clean, like slow build up, I guess, or kind of start out with the song, and then I wanted to have at least like one kind of heavy hitting aspect, and then the rest kind of a slower aspect to the song, I guess you could say. It ends relatively like fast and chaotic in a sense. So I think I just had a lot more like relationship stuff going on in life, and a lot more like introspective stuff going on. And so I think that Otherwise just kind of becoming the result of that. And just a lot of thoughts and emotions I was going through with it. There was another podcast that actually played that song a couple weeks ago, and I kind of viewed it as more like a ballady song, I guess you could say. And then they actually they said it was more of a happy song for them, and it's something that they would see a really cool massage therapist playing. And I took that as a compliment for sure. It was just very interesting. It's kind of cool to see other people get different emotions or different perspectives of the songs than I do. You know, I kind of go into it with one emotion or one thought, and someone else gets a whole nother thought out of it. So I think that's really the cool aspect of instrumental music, you know, is it's a little bit more open to interpretation as opposed to like lyric songs or vocal based songs and things like that, where it kind of drives it in a certain direction, you know.
Cool. Now, for Rock Metal Nation who dug the two tracks, Perceive and Otherwise, will be excited to know that there is a full EP out right now called A New Way Out. Now, Cody, you did mention that each song on the EP kind of has a different feel to it, maybe a different emotion, a different perspective, but I'm curious to hear a little bit more, maybe expand on a bit when we pick up the EP. What should we expect?
So if you're just starting off like with track one, it's definitely a little bit of a heavier hitting song. That one is, so I come from the most part musically a little more like a metal background. Always grew up in metal bands, listening to metal, stuff like that. And so the first song I really wanted to be kind of like an in your face, just kind of heavy hitting one. So a lot more of a darker sound to the first track. And then second track, which is Otherwise, one that just played, kind of just jumps to the other end of the spectrum where it's a little bit slower, a little bit more melodic, you know, stuff like that. And then with Perceive, the first one we played, it's which is track 3 on there. It's a little bit more of that, like I said, kind of, touches on each end of the spectrum, as far as it's a little bit heavier in the beginning, a little bit softer at the end, kind of has a more uppity feel in the middle. And then the last song is definitely a little bit more of like an expansion of the whole other 3 tracks. There's heavy parts, there's slower parts, and then it kind of ends with a very like elongated, like ambient pad sound, just to kind of slowly close out the EP. So my kind of thoughts with it was I just wanted to kind of take people through more of a I guess like emotional journey as far as the different feelings that you're going to get from the songs. You know, I don't think either song sounds the same or really like represents or gives out the same emotion as another one would. So yeah, that was kind of the kind of idea with that. I named it A New Way Out just because it's my first solo project, my first solo EP that I put out with my name under it. So I just figured that would be a fitting name for kind of starting off as a starting off point. So yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I also dig the name of the EP because a lot of metal bands are trying to be as depressing as possible.
But I know, right?
But your EP, instead of it being like, there's no way out, it's like a new way out. It's like, oh, there is a new way out. We can do this.
Exactly. You got to try to keep it upbeat.
That's right. Sweet. All right. So the next logical question on Rock Metal Nation's mind, who is excited about picking up the EP and finding out about more about what you've got going on, is there a website that they should go to keep up to date?
So I mean, probably the most active one I'm on right now is Instagram. I'm definitely hitting that a lot. It's at Cody Held Music. Pretty simple to find, but I'm also hitting Facebook a lot. And then I do have everything on almost every platform except for Pandora. I haven't gotten onto Pandora yet. They're a little bit more difficult to get onto apparently. But YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, Google Play, iTunes, all that stuff. So, but if someone gets in touch with me, I would probably say Instagram would be the best route right now.
Cool. All right. Well, Cody, unless there's anything else you wanted to throw out there, I just wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day to come onto the Rock Metal Podcast and sharing, well, Cody Held with Rock Metal Nation.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on.
All right, Rock Metal Nation. Hopefully you just found your new favorite band in Cody Held. Big thanks again to him for coming on and sharing his music with us. Make sure to head over to www.therockmetalpodcast.ca to get all the information on the show you just heard today. And until then, rock on, Rock Metal Nation.